The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
This season marks a new beginning. New heights will be reached. New records will be broken. A new champion will be crowned. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American open wheel series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
The first half is over. Locker room pep talks have been delivered. The marching band has yielded the field, and DVRs everywhere have replayed any costume malfunctions. Presented by First Medical Equipment, the second half of the Lionheart IndyCar Season 6 schedule is about to kick off with the Wounded Warriors USMC 200 from Texas Motor Speedway. And you can see all the action from green flag to victory donuts right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. From the Lone Star State, hello and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green, presented by the Sim Pit. As cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the simulated Dallara IR-18 action that will immediately follow as we count down to green for the Wounded Warrior USMC 200 from Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Bill Soupson, sharing the microphone with former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Amjad Yaman has director duties, armed with cameras, locked and loaded by Dougie Fear. Now, last season, this series saw Jason Galvin win here at Texas, leading 28 laps en route to his victory. He's currently 50 markers out of the points lead and sitting in third, so a repeat performance would obviously close the gap. But at the time we went live, Galvin was not here. But if you're looking for a driver racing under the radar, keep an eye on Galvin's teammate, Big Joe Hassard. Last season, he led a race-high 78 laps but finished a disappointing 28th. Most drivers have been here before, but not in the new IR18. For the fans making their first trip, let me reintroduce my booth partner, Richie Hearn, to talk about Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, thanks, Soup. And folks, before I talk about the track, let me remind you that everything during the Countdown to Green comes courtesy of its sponsor, the Sim Pit. The Sim Pit's an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer, with instructional video and how-tos that will help your performance to be on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And speaking of virtual tracks, let's talk about today's venue. So today we're at Texas Motor Speedway. It's opened up in 1997 and located just north of Dallas in Fort Worth, Texas. It's 1.5 miles long. It's got quite a steep banking, so it's 24 degrees. The track layout is similar to Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Charlotte Motor Speedway, so it's no great surprise that the track is owned by Speedway Motorsports, the same company that owns all these tracks. Texas Motor Speedway is also home to 2 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series and the IndyCar Series. This place is pretty crazy. I've raced here in real life. It creates some wild 3-wide moments all the way around, some big wrecks, so we're for sure in for a great event. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like, let's jump on board a lap around on the GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Texas Motor Speedway and the GSRC IR18 IndyCar. So without further ado, here we go for the hot lap. Going to be swinging it out here a little wider than you probably did in the DW12, bringing it right down here to that white line, planting that left front right there, hooking the corner on exit. Don't let it drift all the way up to the wall just yet. Down the backstretch, track very, very bumpy. Kind of drive it straight in there and you'll see kind of hook this line once again. Let it rotate, kind of come off the bottom a little bit, but then don't get all the way out to the wall. As the run progresses, you're going to see guys all over this track. So here we go off into turn 1, all the way up here, especially with the aero sensitivity of these Indy cars. If you can find some clean air, you can find some time. Down the backstretch, take that high lane off, can really set you up for a good move here into 3. Heck, you might even see them all the way up here by the fence. They're going to be all over this Texas Motor Speedway in these Indy cars. Off of turn 4, through the quad oval, across the line. And that is going to complete our track guide here around the Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
A lap around, well, the old version of Texas Motor Speedway. This girl's had a lot of work done to her lately. She's looking pretty. But this is how she looked before they started doing some working, I believe, on corners 3 and 4. Let's go ahead and take a lap around the point standings. We'll start with the Drivers' Championship presented by First Medical Equipment. These points take into account the 3 drop races allowed for in the rules. And when the numbers are crunched, you better make sure you have a paper bag ready to breathe into, because there is a lot of adrenaline to be found up top. 2 Adrenaline Motorsports teammates are tied: Andrew Havakech Kinsella and Adam Blocker. Not too bad after the first half of the season. We mentioned no-name Jason Galvin's past success here at Texas. Still no sign of Galvin showing up yet. Brian Yazek has 3 wins for Loud Pedal. And up 2 spots is rookie Stefan Larkamp. Richie's going to talk a little bit more about him in a minute. The big climber on the chart is Scott Bolster, the top Controlled Chaos entry. Let's go ahead and look at the team championship. And this is, of course, brought to you by HPP Simulation. And we talked about Controlled Chaos. They're the biggest surprise here coming out of Sonoma, as that team finished 3rd on the day, thanks to Bob Mikas in 6th, Scott Bolster's 11th, and Samuel Ryman's in 12th. That team now only 21 points out of a top 5. That said, all the teams hold stakes with adrenaline, not surprisingly, on top. Richie, what's going on with the rookies?
Yeah, the rookie standings here are sponsored by Butt Kicker. We have Steven Larkamp up top, who had a great race last time at Sonoma. He sitting 5th overall, as we just showed in the points, and he's also leading as being the cleanest driver. In 2nd is Justin Weaver, just 71 markers back, running for 8-Ball Motorsports. He's 12th overall in the points and has a 4th at Michigan. Bart Workman is in 3rd, running for Skidmark Motorsports. just outside the top 16, looking for his first top 10 of the year. And Samuel Ryman, running for Controlled Chaos outside the top 16, the points overall. He's managed to lead a couple laps this year. He had a pretty good race going on at Sonoma last week, and I believe he finished 10th. So we're looking for big things from all four of these guys.
You know, the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR18 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series, honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And now I'm happy to announce that we once again have some information about the new IR18. So now, with no further ado, here's Richie Hearn from the Setup Corner.
Yeah, this week we're just going to talk about the steering wheels. This season we have gone into depth a lot of items of the IR18. However, one of the most important items on the car has nothing to do with setting up the car directly. The steering wheel on the IR18 is one of the most advanced in motorsports. It's manufactured by Cosworth Electronics. It gives the drivers much needed information during the race to help with to keep them on the track. The steering wheel tells the driver what fuel map the car is in, weight jacker position on the ovals, number of push-to-passes remaining on road courses, the position of the ARBs, the last lap time, the gap to the car ahead and behind, gear speed, RPM, fuel remaining, and laps to go, oil pressure, oil temperature, water temperature, and the fuel pressure. All this on more than a small 7-inch screen, similar in size to a small tablet. In iRacing, the driver can toggle between two preset screens that give the driver its information in real time. However, in the real world, the wheel is fully customized to the driver's design. Oh, and did I mention it also has grips customized to the hands, so it does also need to steer the car.
Richie, back in the days when you were driving, the wheels weren't quite as advanced, but they weren't Maggie Simpson wheels either. They still had some stuff that you had to play with, right?
Yeah, we had stuff on there. We didn't have ARB positions and all that stuff, but we had, RPMs and fuel and stuff like that. I did have custom grips on my steering wheel as well, which make a big difference. They've definitely grown since then. I remember when I first started, some of my first steering wheels had nothing on the dash. The dash was actually in the car, and the steering wheel, all it had was one button, was just for your radio. So it's come a long way since then.
The dash was actually on the dashboard. How prehistoric could that? All right, we've talked about the track, gone over the points. We visited the setup corner and learned how the steering wheel can control the flow of fabric softener. So let's move along to something a little more simpler. How about Richie talk about the series details?
Yeah, these series details come to us thanks to the SimPit. We are in season 6 of the Lionheart series. We're around 13 of 24, and everybody gets 3 drop weeks. We're running, of course, the new Dallara IR18. We're running adjusted fixed setups, and we're working on a cash and prize totaling $6,402 for the season.
Very nice, including one nice piece of equipment from HPP Simulations that we'll talk about. You know, as the Lone Star sun sinks towards a blue meth sky of New Mexico, let's go ahead and bring up the weather as qualifying is just about to get started. Let's see what the boys are having to deal with today. Richie doesn't look too bad.
No, it doesn't look too bad at all. So it's going to be a nice clean race here. We're working at 83 degrees, only 9-degree track temp, so it's going to make these tires happy. We do have quite a strong wind, though, coming in southeast at 12 miles an hour. So that might affect these guys a little bit in the corners, and obviously 0% humidity, 0% fog. So overall, it's going to be a good night for racing.
All right, qualifying is just getting underway right now. Drivers are beginning to go out there and take their laps around. Passing here, Richie, sometimes qualifying doesn't matter much because passing is going to be easy. Sometimes it matters a lot because it's hard. Passing comes at a premium. What are we looking at here today for Texas? What do you think?
Well, you're right. Qualifying's not, everything that you need. But if you do start in the back, this place tends to have some big wrecks because you're running 2 and 3 wide consistently. So, if you don't qualify well, sure, you'll be in the race, but you're kind of sending yourself out to be caught in some of those wrecks. And obviously that's going to end your day. So if it was me personally, you always want to start right about, maybe 10th and above. Being on pole, it's not going to mean much. But, if you're starting 20, 25th, 30th position, it's a tough go and trying to stay out of that mess. That's definitely going to happen.
I had the pleasure of being on the broadcast crew that called the Majors event. They were racing at Pocono in these cars, one race that you participated in. And tires played a big factor there. But here with the high banks is it going to be kind of what we saw at Pocono, or do you think the tire's going to be a little less go away quite as fast?
No, they'll probably be okay. I mean, the biggest difference was, our track temp was 112 degrees, so you really couldn't even get a full tank run without having to pit. So that made a big difference on your pit strategy here. You're probably going to see some of the tires wear out as you get near the end. Maybe getting a little bit of understeer coming off turn 4 where it tightens up, and turn 2, maybe not be able to hang in the draft too much, but I don't see with only 90-degree track temp being that much of a factor. It'll be just kind of a straight up, you could probably run the full fuel run.
There's Brian Yazik, another driver that we both saw Sunday night in the I want to call them the Pack Majors. I guess it's just the Majors event now, and he's doing some double duty over here in Lionheart. Currently sitting, has he put in a qualifying time yet? Not yet. You would think that he probably should be pretty good in qualifying, as he was the voice behind the track guide that you just saw a little while ago. Andrew Havakech-Kinsella, one of the adrenaline drivers, tied for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, these are adjusted fixed. So everybody's running the same setup. So qualifying is going to be extremely tight. It's going to be just very little differences, a little less scrub in the steering wheel. Some of these guys might sit in the pit lane a little bit and burn some fuel, just to try to squeeze that little bit out right at the end. Got a pretty big field here today, so it looks like we got close to 40 cars, I think.
And again, it's hard for me not to draw a comparison to what we just did, since I just did these similar cars on an oval with the Pocono event in the majors. The big difference there, I think, is you talked about the fixed setups. Everybody's racing a car that has been set up to race. We had a little bit of a yellow fest early on because the majors, it was all about making the field, maybe people not spending quite as much time putting in a race setup.
Yeah, we qualify. Everything's open there, so trying to get into that top 33 so we can get on the GSRC broadcast. That's what you want. And, it makes it tough for some of these guys, and unfortunately, I don't think they spend much time working on the race setup, and that shows in the race. But here, everybody's running the same setup. They get these setups pretty early on. They do a lot of practicing. This series is very professional and wants to put on a good show, so they spend a lot of time with that. So, it's going to come down to just who can be the best driver, best, strategy, passing wise, fuel strategy, and then see who comes at the end there.
That really is the selling point for the fixed setup series, that it does put on really, really good racing. Qualifying is just about done, so when it is time to go qualifying, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, visit hppsimulation.com. Let's go ahead and do the grid right now. On the pole, Justin Weaver, going to be inside of Dan Guerin. Richie?
Yeah, right up next to him is going to be Michael Goodman and Big Joe Hazard, as we mentioned earlier.
Brian Beard and Tony Schoen make up row 3.
Next up will be Brandon Linkerman and Bob Mikas.
Brian Yazik and Dustin Wardlow, 9th and 10th.
Coming in 11th will be Chris Lanini and Adam Blocker, starting 12th.
In the Baker Southern spot, Chris Stouffer inside of Joe Flanagan.
Next row will consist of Joe Branch and Pierre Daigle.
George Anzaldo and Stefan Larkamp are top rookie in 18th.
Next up is going to be Ian Adams and Jason Galvin.
Hidden Blackjack, Brian It's Not Easy Being Greenlee inside of Ron Hacker.
Next row in the 23rd spot will be Woody Mayhem and then Andrew Kinsella. Surprising he's so far back on the qualifying.
Sure is. In the quarter century mark, Ed King Tutwiler, flanked by Tyler Groff.
Next row will be Ken Hacker and the Racing Kangaroo Gray.
Rounding out your top 30, Matthew Mercer and Dylan McKenna.
Starting in 31st will be Bart Workman, and right next to him will be Scott Bolster.
Tribute to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In 33rd, it is Jack Bogan. He's going to be inside of Peter Edwards.
Starting 35th will be Greg West. Starting 36th will be Robert Bluen.
37th and 38th, James Krahula. What's he doing way back there? And Scott Johnson.
And rounding out the last row, 2 drivers that didn't put a time in. We got Samuel Ryman, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders, and Isaiah Dupree starting 40th.
As all the cars are out on the grid, they're about to roll around. We do have a few onboard cameras that we can look at in a minute. We'll start here with Bob Mikas and the Von Hansen's machine. VonHansens.com since 1983 has delivered personal first service in a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. Then you got Big Joe Hassard. HPP is awarding a Formula Racing wheel valued at just under $1,500 to the season champion. Pete Edwins in the DirtyBlinds.com onboard camera, the best way to clean, market, and service to blind cleaning customers. All right, we have all of our business out of the way, perfectly timed by our director. Thank you very much, Amjad Yaman, for getting the commentators right to where they need to be. And right now, all of our focus can go up front to the surprise pole sitter, Justin Weaver, out there in the Moby Dickey's machine. Hello to everybody at Moby Dickey's.
I just noticed in the chat, too, that Woody Mayhem was given an end-of-line penalty, so I don't know if he got something post-race from the last race, but he's had to move from 23rd all the way back to 40th.
Well, the pace car comes out of 4, and we're about ready to get the second half of this season underway. Gather at the chicken's egg, cover me on the cows because the horses are out of the barn. Remember to tip your waitresses as Moby Dickey as Justin Weaver takes that car into the first corner, leading the stampede. Dandy Dan Guerin, Big Joe Hassard, Michael Goodman, and Tony Shaw in your top 5.
And we're getting a challenge for the lead right now as Dan Guerin's looking on the inside. He's looking to bring Michael Goodman with him. He's kind of pushed up Justin Weaver right to the outside, so we're already seeing a challenge, a new leader coming across that start-finish line.
Easy pass made there. They did practice the start earlier on in practice. I got to say, this one went pretty well.
Yeah, they were pretty clean this opening lap, but they're spreading way out. They're all over the place, 3-4 wide. That's what this place invites, so hopefully you guys can keep it clean. We got a long ways to go here.
There's 1, 2, 3 up front, but then they're double filed back a little bit farther. Goodman on the inside, Shawan on the outside, Mike is on the inside, Beard on the top side.
Yeah, one thing that's about this car is when you pull out to pass somebody, if there's nobody in front to pull you along, it's really hard to get that pass done. So, you know, them running too wide all the way through the field is making it easy for some of these guys to make those passes.
The top 14 cars all within 1.5 seconds of 1.5 seconds of each other. Dropping back a little bit, Chris Lanini. Woody Mahan is had to start from the back, is out there now.
And Dan Guerin doing a good job holding on to that lead. He's just hugging that white line all the way through the corners, trying to make Big Joe go all the way around. But like you said, Big Joe ran strong last time they were here, leading 7 to 8 laps. So he's showing that strength right out of the box for this one.
Richie, in the real world, just like on SimRacing, are there tracks when you thought, oh man, this is my track, that you're always a little better than you usually are?
Oh, absolutely. You have tracks that you're friendly with and tracks you don't like. Sometimes it just comes down to your team just has a general good overall feel for the track. You get out there, start your practice, and you're right on the money, and that just builds your confidence throughout the weekend. Sometimes you show up and it never just feels right. You know, even though you're running well, you're just always maybe a little bit uncomfortable out there.
On the spot, for you personally, what was your track? What one that said, oh, I feel good here?
I always loved Indy. I always loved racing at Michigan. I loved racing at Detroit and Vancouver, the street races. Hated racing at Milwaukee. I was terrible there. And I never did well at Portland either. Just sometimes you just don't jive.
I think you'll have a lot of company when it comes, at least in the sim world, to Milwaukee. That's a tough one. Right now, we're looking at Stouffer, who has a big checkup. He's fallen back to 10th position. They are still 2x2 out there, a lot all the way in the field. The front's a little well-behaved, but again, as so often is the case, back in the pack, they're tight.
Yeah, we got a couple of big movers here. Pierre Daigle going from 16th to 11th. Right behind him, Brandon Linkerman. He's lost a bunch of spots. Started 7th, and he's dropped all the way back to 12th. I think he might be losing another spot here in a second, so he's definitely struggling at this early part of the race.
Well, if the drivers will allow us, let's go ahead and put up the race analysis real quick so we know exactly how far we're going. It's 133 laps, I believe, is our scheduled distance. There you go. We figure they can go just a tick under 40 for a fuel stop. We think it's going to be A three-stopper today in the wall, but he keeps it going, is Joe Flanagan. Oh my goodness, I thought we had our first yellow, but he's still racing out there now in 17th. Let's take a peek on this one. You can see how a car will start to drift.
Now, like I said, that turn 4 wall comes up on you pretty quick, so he already started high and actually hit the wall in between 3 and 4, so started high, got in the wash, and, fortunately he kind of hit the wall square and was able to keep on going.
Picks up a Darlington stripe. All right, our leader's working lap 11 as we have been under green the entire time. There is a nice battle for 6th. Jasic just tried to make an attack on Bob Micus and the Von Hansen Mead machine. It did not work. Jasic's HPP machine then lost momentum, and now that car up there in the Dodger Blue of Adam Blocker trying to pick up that spot.
Yeah, Big Joe's falling back from his second spot. He's back and forth and now getting swallowed up by Bob Micus. So it's now Tony Schoen, Justin Weaver, and second and third, and Bob Micus taking over that 4th spot.
Richie, it looks to me like whenever they can, they kind of race in like staggered position. Low, high, low, high, low, high. I gotta guess they're trying to get clean air on the front. What do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really tough. You lean on that front wing so much. So it's really tough to just drive right behind somebody. And so if you can get at least half your car out or above, or either underneath or above, you can kind of hang in there in that draft. So you'll constantly see them spread out and then funnel back, and that'll just be the order of the day here.
Saw an interesting piece while watching the Real World Indy broadcast, how they're still tinkering with the car, trying to put on, I guess, kind of like a wicker flap up on the front wing, trying to get it figured out for drivers in the real world that they can play around with. Trying to get grip, maybe not so air push sensitive through the corner.
Yeah, sometimes just putting the wicker on there, it's not so much the downforce it creates, but it just creates a cleaner wake. So you just got to remember the downforce comes from how the air flows underneath the wing, not above it. So if you put that wicker, it kind of pulls the air up. It's kind of like a diffuser in the back of the car, and it creates a little more kind of almost free downforce. And so when they're in dirty air, that wing is working a little more efficiently, and it creates a little bit closer racing.
There's Bob Micus on the Von Hansen's onboard camera machine. He has now worked his way up to 3rd. Justin Weaver has fallen back to 4th after starting on the pole. Micus is on the move, though. Now he is hungry. He's got Tony Schoen in the sights. Is he going to look down? No, he's going to wait.
Yeah, we got moves going on all over the place. Ooh, we got, looks like Pierre Daigle bumped the wall just like we had before in turns 3 and 4. Got in a little high and just had nowhere to go, but scraped the wall. He's losing positions now.
Lost a lot of momentum, yeah.
And Ian Adams is about to go by him as well. Meanwhile, Dan Guerin's out there. He's just he's breaking the draft. He's got a really good flow going, and he hasn't been challenged yet. This guy needs a good finish. He's had a rough year. He really needs a good finish here.
Well, out in front's probably the best place to be if you're looking to avoid bad luck. Probably the best place to do it. Yeah, I just want to mention what I saw with Bob Micus and I'm seeing from a lot of these guys. Micus was very careful, had a chance to make a pass, thought better of it. What I've noticed is the failed pass, Richie, is deadly. You lose momentum, and not only do you not make the pass, but then you lose a spot to the guy behind you.
I mean, pretty much everybody's flat out, so if you have to lift because you can't make that pass or whatever, you're just going to get a group of guys to take advantage of that. And I just saw Brian Jasic go past Bob Micus. So Brian's moving up fairly well, starting 9th. Looks like he's moved up to 4th position. Oh, sorry. My bad. I called that wrong.
Yes, we have, just to clarify, it's Guerin up in front, Tony Schoen in 2nd. Justin Weaver, I think that's maybe the car you saw. It's Weaver that got around Micus. Weaver up into 3rd now. Micus back into 4th. We saw Micus make that pass earlier. Go back to 6th position. This is Blocker in the blue car up a little higher, and he just got around Big Joe Hasser.
Yeah, started 12th up to 6th spot. He was our winner from last week, so he's definitely moving forward. Tied for the lead with Adam Kinsella for the points. Andrew Kinsella. Keep doing that. They're too close in their names. But Andrew started 24th. He's worked his way up 8 spots to 16th here. So he'll eventually get up there. He'll be up there challenging for the lead. Just got to stay clean for this part of the race.
Since things are settling down, let's maybe take a second to find our hard charger. Well, he's in a mix. Let's go back to 26th position. In the yellow car, that's James Grahul, or at least in the citrus-flavored car. He's racing in 26. He has moved up a bunch of spots. Remember, he had that horrible qualifying run. But my gosh, in front of him on the top side, that's Matthew Mercer. Joe Flanagan, that car is not feeling well in the Old Bay machine. It was in the wall already. He loses another spot down to 26. And now going around the top, that is Dylan McKenna.
Yeah, it looks like Joe Flanagan's had enough of what's going on. He's entering the pits and maybe try to fix whatever his issues are at the moment.
Honestly, this could be in the window here when they can go so far. They can go 40 laps. 40, 40, 40 is 120. You add 23 on that, that gets you there. So if we were to go green from here, it's not going to cost them too much. The car wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're losing that many positions, you might as well just come in and try to fix it.
Oh, let's go to Greg West. He got in the wall and then banged into a car on the inside. Let's see if we can figure out who that was. We'll look at it again. Going underneath West was Michael Gray.
Yeah, and it looked a little bit like a little bit of a net code possibly, and didn't really look like they had contact, but it definitely set him hard in the wall, and he is definitely got one hurt machine.
Scott Bolster, that's who took a ride through the grass. I think Bolster got a little bit of gray when he came off the wall. That sent him down to the infield. Yeah, we'll ride on board with Bolster. No, he took a real good hit.
Yeah, Greg's decided to take a tow, so he's slipping the pit lane.
There you see now West gets up into the wall, comes down, boom, catches him. Bolster's on the grass, but yeah, it's not going to work. That car really got punched hard.
Yeah, he's missing the right front wing. So fortunately, you can change those wings pretty quickly. So if he can just keep it going, come into the pits, he'll stay on the lead lap as all the leaders are coming in at the moment.
As they are indeed. Dandy Dan Guerin leads them into pit lane. He'll have that second spot. Justin Weaver pulls just ahead of him because he's the pole sitter.
That's the other reason why qualifying is really important, because you do get that preferred spot up front. So Dan Guerin's off and away. Looks like Justin Weaver's going to lose position to Tony Schoen.
How are they going to sort out? Weaver's going to get third. Blocker gets fourth. Yazik back in sixth. Oh, Bob Mike is down there in seventh. He lost positions. Riding at your top 10, Big Joe Hazard, Ian Adams, and Chris Stouffer. Did everybody come in? According to my timing and scoring, everybody but Tyler Groff.
Yeah, and something's going on with Andrew Kinsella. He came in running pretty good, and now he's slowing down. He must have got a penalty, and he's letting the whole field go by as he comes out of the pit. So I don't know what happened. He must have got a penalty, but he's going to have to work his way from the back of the field here.
Keeping an eye on some of the cars up front. Flanagan, who just made that pit stop, sits at the, well, is he one? Let's see how many laps down he is. Is he one or two? We'll know exactly when he comes across the line this time. Flanagan, I think, is going to be just one lap down. So he's going to get the wave around back on the lead lap. And that's going to put Graf up in the lead. I guess he's going to stay out there.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of angry people with really good tires behind him.
What we're going to do right now is take a quick break. Don't go far. We'll be back before we go green.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel and the Lionheart IndyCar Series. GSRC is proud to be part of the iRacing Esports Network stable of broadcasters, so giddy up, viewers, and enjoy the ride as we bring you more live as it happens coverage of the Wounded Warriors USMC 200, round 13 to 24 on the Texas Motor Speedway. And as we take this opportunity, you saw a butt kicker commercial there during the break. Take this opportunity to talk about butt kicker. If you're a sim racer looking to add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your session, butt kicker products are the way to go.
And we're back green here with Dan Guerin.
So.
He's leading, but Tony Schoen, who got a position on that pit stop, round of pit stops, he's looking to pass him on the outside. But Dan's done a really good job of just hugging that white line, making these guys go the long way around. I'm going to be really interested to watching Mr. Kinsella coming from the back with the penalty he must have gotten and sitting in 33rd spot. So we'll kind of keep an eye on him because he's tied with Adam Blocker for the points lead, who's now sitting in 4th after starting 12th.
Apologies for missing that start. I could hear it, but everything went blank here on my screen, but I'm back now.
And then right behind Adam Blocker, these guys are basically jumping in the blender and mixing it up really early on because they're going 3-4 wide right through the middle of the corners. When they get these fresh tires, it really makes them feel comfortable. So we're starting to see these guys start to make some moves.
Your leaders, Guerin, Schoen, Blocker, Weaver, Yazik, and Big Joe Hazard. Boy, there is a full slate of cars up front. Also in the mix, Micah, Stouffer, Goodman out there.
There's a lot of battles going on, so it's hard to keep track of all of them, but just watched Justin Weaver just close the door on Adam Blocker going into turn 1. And he did pass him around the outside, so he went the hard way, but he made it work. He's moved back up to 3rd spot.
The top 10, 11, 12 cars all race under a blanket. It's a little bit farther back to another group. Starts back there with Stefan Larkamp, Limpkeman in the mix, Branch, and Zaldo. We're working lap number 34.
Yeah, once again, Dan Guerin, like I say, he's doing a great job. He's pretty much led every lap so far. And you know, Tony Schoen's looking for a right way around, but he just can't quite get the momentum. He's having to pull in his single file lane, every time, and we'll see what happens here. But he's trying pretty hard, and that's bringing in Justin Weaver to maybe get a pass on Tony Schoen to take that 2nd place back that he lost under the pit stops.
Right on board with Schoen.
And you can see when you're riding on board, you can see how. Dan's just running the middle lane and lower. He's not coming up, and he's definitely taking the shortest way around.
Now Justin has a run. Up top, let's see if he can get some momentum off of 4. Gets right in behind him. He should be close. He'll be close at the line, but going into 1, it's still Guerin in the preferred spot. And I guess to a certain respect, Richie, without anybody ahead of him, Schoen gets no help from the draft. I mean, there's nobody for him to suck up on, so he has to do it all himself.
Yeah, that's kind of what we found out in Pocono too last week, is that you can get that run, but you kind of stall out right about where Tony is right now. Next to him, he just stalls out, and then now he's got to go the long way around, so he loses that track distance, and he just can't make it happen. So probably gonna have to just stay patient, maybe save some fuel. Realize that it's gonna be tough to make this happen. Maybe wait for that traffic to get in the way, help him out. This is bringing Adam Blocker, though, like you were just about to say, right up into underneath him.
Well, just Austin Weaver was kind of exploring to see if he had any avenues to get up there with those guys, and I think he tried the low line, and that didn't work for him. And Blocker said, "Okay, let's see what Blocker can do now. He has a good run. He's going to get there on Schoen. Now he has the inside. Unfortunately, he's got the car of Guerin right in front of him.
Yeah, now Darren moves up, try to help them both. So he's kind of working that Daytona line where he just kind of helped both lines at the same time. And so they both stall out, and that's basically what happened. Adam lost his momentum, and now he's falling back, and now he's maybe going to get overtaken by Justin Weaver.
You look at the front four, you can see a guy coming into the picture in the very back, Big Joe Hassard. He just got around Ian Adams, and Hassard is coming now. We talked about it in the countdown to green. He was really good here last season. Of course, different car, same pair of hands. Right on board Justin Weaver in the HPP onboard camera.
A couple of guys that started up front, Brian Beard and Brandon Linkerman are running together, but they started 5th and 7th. Now they're running 17th and 18th. So I don't know if they are purposely just kind of taking it easy, just letting it play out, or if they have some sort of issue, but they're definitely fallen back quite a few positions.
We look back farther in the field. Good racing for the fans all the way through the pack. We're going to go barred with Peter Edwin. In the DirtyBlinds.com onboard camera. Dirty Blinds, if you got dirty blinds, they'll clean them for you, but they'll also teach you how to clean them and teach you how to teach people how to clean them. Check out Dirty Blinds if you're looking for some interesting career opportunities. Again, I have to question their company name, but that's really beyond my pay grade. Just to be clear, they will not give you dirty blinds. They will, if you have dirty blinds, that's who you want to call.
So far, a really clean race. Having 40 cars on this tiny little 1.5 mile oval is that's pretty impressive. So you can see these guys do practice a lot and have a lot of respect for each other. And just one yellow in 44 laps. That's good to see.
Looking at that tight battle there as they almost go 3 wide. Ian Adams, he was just ahead of Michael Goodman. He puts it in the wall. A good job of missing it from Chris Lanini. Boy, and once Ian Adams got the car in the wall, it would not come off. Maybe he was just keeping it up there to make sure he didn't come down in front of traffic.
Yeah, no yellow flag either, so it's just going to keep this race flowing. Bringing up the replay here.
And if we can stay on it for a while, you can see he waits and he waits and he waits, and then finally traffic clears. And he dives down into pit lane, does not bring out the yellow. Honestly, a pretty nice job of racecraft there from Ian Adams. And he takes not only a tow, but he leaves the sim. So Ian's day is done. Pass for the... Oh, this is not a pass for the lead. This is Woody Mahan.
Yeah, he came into the pits a little bit ago, so he just came out of the pit lane, so he's got fresh tires. So he's going to fight to stay on that lead lap pretty hard, because if the yellow does come out, there's no lucky dog in Indy cars. This is the only way to get your lap back, is you got to be in front of the leader when that yellow caution flag comes out.
These cars have been out there for about a 22-lap stint. This will be 23 laps. A few of those were under yellow between time of putting in the fuel and the time they went green. It is Guerin, Weaver, and Schoen, your top 3.
And I believe they did 25 laps on that first stint, so we're kind of reaching that point again. So if the yellow doesn't come out, we'll probably see these guys go all the way till they need the fuel, because you definitely lose almost basically a lap as if you come in and take a full stop.
They're telling me 39 laps. I always add one because they lie to me. I think they can probably go 40. From the last time of that pit stop, if we were to go green from here, we'd be looking at 1 more and then 2 more, and that would get us to the end.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like we got a group of 5 that have broken away behind Big Joe and Brian Yazik. It's 2-second gap there, so no draft available for Brian. So these 5 have kind of gotten in single file and just done their thing, and to try to just do the save the fuel game maybe.
It's a nice battle for, well, actually 9th position. Just getting around it is Michael Goodman, and now making a move on the high side. That's Pierre Niedendegla as he goes around Chris Lanini. Lanini qualified 11th, is racing in 10th right now. He loses positions to Degla and Goodman, and now he's in jeopardy of losing one more to Bob Mikas. Mikas was racing up, well within the top 5, fell back a little bit after the pit stop.
I've been keeping an eye on Andrew Kinsella, who, like I said, must have had a penalty. He's had to start this yellow flag run in 33rd spot. He's made his way back up to 25th. And he's just kind of slowly picking them away. He's about to go underneath Dylan McKenna if he can hold that bottom line. Not quite able to do it, but we'll keep an eye on him because he is tied for the points lead. Unfortunately, he is in a spot that a little bit dangerous if there's an accident in front of him.
This is a nice battle. We can afford to stay here a little bit so we don't jump around a little. Give me a feel of what racing is like. My goodness, he's got 2 cars in front of him as they go too wide, trying to go down low. That's Ed King Tutwiler in the Lucas car, the black and red machine. On the high side, that's Dylan McKenna. Tony Schowen is going to come in for a pit stop. He was racing up front.
Yeah, he's out of the car, so I don't know if he had a real-world issue he had to get out. But he was definitely running up second place so for a little while, so something's happened with him.
What happened to Tony? It's too bad. He was having a nice run. Quick look and see if I can see anything unusual that happened to Tony here. But I don't. As we look at that, as we look at P7. Yeah, we're looking there at Pierre Niedendegla in 7th position.
And as I said, we had a group of 5. It looks like we now have a group of 3 as Big Joe has moved up into 3rd spot ahead of Adam Blocker. And those guys have pulled a little bit of gap on Adam. So it's definitely stringing around the speedway here at the minute as we get getting close to those pit stops. I mean, we're 32 lap stint. These laps click off really quick, so we're getting pretty close to that 39 window.
Front 3 are nicely separated. Actually, the front 4, if you include Adam Blocker in that mix as well. Guerin, Weaver, Guerin, Weaver, Hassard, and Blocker. But there is a nice battle for 5th. This is Brian Yazik. The car behind him just coming out of the shadows, Chris Stouffer. They are about just a tick under 5 seconds behind the leaders right now. As far as pit stops go, I'm not sure if there's anybody that has had one that is really having an issue, or that has made a pit stop that can get to the front. Andrew Kinsella has made 2, but that's a little bit suspicious. Uh-oh. Stefan Larkamp, is that who it's going to be? No, I don't think so. It's McKenna. Or look at... Here it is. Dylan McKenna had an issue. Ow. Ow!
Yeah, he just got a little wide coming out of 2, and he just ping-ponged it from one side to the other, did a little pirouette, and he is pretty much going to be towing to the pits. But this does bring out the caution right about that window, so everybody's going to be pitting here. I was kind of looking forward to see some green flag stops, but this will just even the field back out.
Not going to happen this time. We'll stay with this until they come in. Guerin, Weaver, Hassard, Bolster, and Scott Bolster in the mix, a lap down there. Blocker and Yazik, your top 5. Speaking of bolster, he may want to stay out there and get the wave around. Working lap 61.
Yeah, laps are going down really quick. We're pretty much almost halfway there as Dan Guerin leads the field into the pit lane. This is going to be key to getting that box quickly, cleanly. It seems like getting some of those positions are tough to get on the track. The pit lane's the easiest place to do it. And it's also the easiest place to lose them. So we'll just see how this goes for our leaders.
Should be this stop and then one more from here. They should be in the window. Weaver has the front stall. Guerin right behind. He was first. Oh, look at this. Justin Weaver is going to beat Dan Guerin out.
Yeah, that was an excellent stop. He was almost 0.6 of a second faster. Maybe it was a little fuel gain, as far as being in the draft, not having to fill all the way up, or maybe even short filling. Who knows?
They cycle out in second. Robert Bluen decided to stay out. He's trapped behind the pace car right now. Let's go ahead and look at the driver profile if we can. Let's give us an opportunity. Who we featuring today? Well, we'll bring that up and we'll all learn it together. I saw it in the script, but I forgot by now. Oh, it's James Krahula. Sorry, apologies, James. There you can see he's been around for a while. This is his 70th career start. Out of all those 70 starts, you would think he'd have more poles than just one, but at least he has one. Twice as many wins. A blackjack worth of top fives, and you can see all those top tens. Out of 70 starts, finishes in the top 10 more than half. First race was Iowa back in season 1, so he's been around for a while. Good to have James Krahula with us. Right now, Krahula racing in 13th position. In that familiar, I'm going to say it's yellow, citrus. I'll call it citrus. I can't go wrong if I do that.
That's pretty impressive. He started 37th. He's done this to you before, Soup, where he's not put a qualifying time and then gets that hard charger award.
Yeah, I don't believe in such a thing. Out there, he's in the JMK supply machine. He's got thumbs up, cancer down on it. Nice fluorescent paint scheme. Up quite a few positions, having a good run. This is the first round of the second half of Season 6 for the Lionheart IndyCar Series. You're watching the Global Sim Racing channel, courtesy of iRacing's new esports network. Glad to be part of that. You can see that the lights are still on the pace car as they flash right in front of the camera. Now the car, and off they go. The car right behind the pace car is indeed our race leader, Justin Weaver.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, he might have got tired of sitting watching Dan lead all these laps and might have just taken it only takes like a gallon or two less to jump him on the stop. So he might have short filled it a little bit, knowing that maybe there's going to be another caution, and then just see what he can do out in the lead.
Well, let's take a look at that. The actual numbers that our timing and scoring tells us. We'll start with Justin Weaver. His time in the box, 8.4 seconds. Dan Guerin, 9.2. You do the math, that's 0.8 of a second faster. What about cone to cone? Well, almost a second faster cone to cone. So there you have it. Maybe my co-commentator's on to something here. A little bit of a short fill. And of course, if another yellow comes out, then he won't need it all.
Yeah, I watched Dan's pit stop, so I didn't see a mistake happen. So, but his pit stop was definitely longer. But we're getting ready to rack them up and get going here again.
Pace car pulls in. The drivers are ready. The commentator this time is ready. And Justin Weaver is ready as he gets a great start. We're going back under green. He's working lap number 66. Just a tick under the halfway mark. Dan Guerin in second. Big Joe Hassard. We talked about him in the pre-race show. He's going to be good. He's looking for a run. He's going to try it on the top side. Guerin's got nowhere to go. He's going to find somewhere to go. He dives it in deep, and he's going to get the win. My goodness. The Moby Dickie's car was sitting there swimming in the ocean. He goes from first to third.
He's about to go to fourth, too, as Adam Blocker's going underneath him. I mean, honestly, Justin Weaver, he left that door open and invited Dan to go through, and Dan took Big Joe and Adam with him. So right now, Justin Weaver's struggling a little bit on full tanks, as he's got Brian Yosick looking underneath him as well in turn 4. So lesson learned, hug that white line. Do not leave that width open. Someone's going to take it.
Back in the popcorn position, the 6th car in the train. That's Chris Stouffer. He nice tries to, oh no, getting loose. That was the blue car of Yosick. He got back into the nose of Justin Weaver.
Yeah, that was really close. I didn't see any damage, but that was close. It could have wadded up half the field. So right now, these guys are wrestling hard. Got to keep it easy, but we still got a long ways to go, guys.
All this going on behind Dandy Dan Guerin. He was back behind for a little bit. He's now out in front. Hazard in second on the low sign. Blocker in third on the top sign. Both drivers looking for clear air in front of them. They race 2 by 2 behind as well. Weaver up top, Stouffer down low. Stouffer now goes high.
Yeah, we've seen this story before. Dan gets in front, rides that white line, and these guys just can't get the momentum, as Big Joe's trying to get that momentum to go around the outside, but once again, it's the longest way around. He just can't keep it up. And then these guys all stack up, fighting for positions behind Dan. So, good for Dan for able to handling that car on that low line all the way around consistently.
Maybe if they make Guerin keep that low line, maybe they can make him use up his stuff over this run. Here comes Adam Blocker down low. Up top is Big Joe Hazard.
Yeah, Adam tried to get that run underneath. He had Dan Guerin for a draft, but right in the middle of the corner, you can see his front end wash up. He had to back out of the throttle. And that's now inviting Brian Yosick to try to make a move on Adam Blocker around the outside. These guys are all stacked up pretty deep here.
He turned him! He turned him! He tried to go, I don't know how else to phrase it, but he turned him. Big Joe Hazard tried to go underneath him, thought better of it, and then the man who's had bad luck all season long finds another dose of it.
Oh, man, that's too bad. Got the replay coming up, and once again, he just got a little too close, tried to cross over him, and that nose sticks out there pretty far. I've done that myself, and I'm sure he didn't mean to do it on purpose, but Dan is not going to be happy because he has had some serious bad luck this year.
Well, let's flip the coin over and try to give both sides of the story. Maybe Joe Hazard was down there and Guerin tried to cover and didn't realize that he was there. Either way, it didn't work out.
And Dan's taking a tow, so he's sitting out of the car at the moment. And this is going to pretty much take him out of the race. So probably by far our fastest car is now sitting in the pits.
Well, like I said earlier, the safest place to be is out in front. And that's the exception that proves the rule there.
Yeah, it's just looked like just racing and just getting a little too close. And like I said, they have a long ways to go. And these guys are starting to fire it up like there was 10 laps to go. And Dan Guerin has disconnected, so he's definitely not happy. He's left the building.
That's probably good, and I think he should probably say, at least stay away from our interview booth for a little bit before he comes and talks with us there. Oh, that's a hard one to swallow. So what does that do? That puts Big Joe Hazard out in front, Adam Blocker behind him, Brian Yosick, Stouffer, and Weaver. This gives us an opportunity to talk about some of our fine sponsors. Why don't we go ahead and talk about, how about this one we don't get to talk about very much. And, of course, Von Hansen's Meat, as we're currently under yellow, working lap number 74 of 132. They've been around since 1983. Von Hansen's Meat Market has delivered personalized full service to friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. They offer a large and ever-expanding selection of meat products and meat ideas, ranging from casual gatherings to special occasions. For more information, please visit VonHansensMeat.com. I'm going to give a personal plug. I recommend the flavored pretzels. Oh, man, those are good. And right now, if you're wondering what you're watching, just like Joe Walsh joining the Eagles, making a great band even greater, GSRC joins iRacing's eSport Network, joins their band of broadcasters to bring you this live as it happens coverage of the Wounded Warrior USMC 200. It's round 13 of 24 here at Texas.
So we do have a group of cars that have pitted, and it looks like, if my timing and scoring is right, it looks like starts with Joe Branch, and he brought a whole group of cars with him into the pit lane, including our Mr. Constella, Dustin Wardlow, Brian Beard, Bart Workman, and so on. And so this is going to mix up those fuel runs. This guy's up front, 12 laps on the last stint. But if we go green, it's going to give those guys obviously 12 laps of window. So this will be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not sure if going green is actually going to help them. I think where they may make up an advantage is if we get a yellow flag that's in the next pit window and everybody needs to come in. Everyone will gather up behind the pace car. Everyone will come in. But these guys will have a touch more fuel. Maybe their pit stops can be a touch more fast.
Yeah, it goes both ways. I mean, really, when you're in that mid to back thirds of the field, it really doesn't hurt to come in and do that. So these guys are playing smart, and either the leaders have to pit under green and you can go a little bit longer hoping for a yellow, or if there's a yellow, everybody comes in and you have a much shorter stop and you just make the positions up that way.
And if my sixth grade teacher is watching, Sister Mary Catherine, yes, I realize that more fast is not the actual term to use on that one. Big Joe Hazard, Adam Blocker, Brian Yazik, 1, 2, 3. Let's find ourselves a hard charger to highlight here. How about the driver in 12th? I'm sorry, it's just the way it plays out. We don't mean to play favorites, but James Grahula, friend of GSRC, sitting in 12th. And then those guys that Richie was talking about who took that strange pit stop strategy.
Yeah, just want to bring up also, I see a Dupree who didn't put a qualifying time in, started 40th. He's now in 16th as we get going green.
All right, working lap number 76. Nice friendly restart. Everybody single file. Joe Hazard out there, he's about to get eaten up, though. Here comes a nice run from Adam Blocker. First time we've seen these guys race each other without Dan Guerin in front of him. Blocker can't make it work. There's the familiar car of Brian Yazik, that HPP machine, looking for somewhere to go.
Yeah, same thing. Big Joe's running what Dan Guerin was doing, was running that bottom, trying to make these guys go around the outside. That's allowed Brian Yazik to get by Big Adam Blocker as he used the draft off. Oh, that got a big wiggle in the back there. These guys keep it going.
Boy, with the run these guys are getting, you almost wish you were at California there, where they could go 3 or 4 wide. There's just not enough racetrack for these guys to put the car once there's a car in front of them or two.
Yeah, the passing has been tough. I mean, there have been runs. These guys have gotten side by side, even a nose ahead. But you know, if you can hold that bottom line, you basically have position. These guys just really is hard to get that momentum to clear them on the outside of the corners.
You can see them coming at you. Everybody in perfect staggered position. Uh-oh, we got problems. Big crash. I can hear it. I haven't found it yet. Oh, it's mayhem. Get this replay. Bring it up right now. We'll take a look at mayhem.
Yeah, well,
oh my.
yeah, that was a big wreck right in that tri-oval area. That is a really tricky spot. Everything kind of tightens up, so we'll get another look at it here. Going around one car up the middle, and it's got a car up wide, and you know, they just kind of come together.
Well, since we just had a yellow flag, this will give us an opportunity. I don't think we're going to see a lot of pit stop action going on. We might. Let's hang on just a minute before we go to a break and see if any of our leaders are going to decide to come in. Nope, they're going to stay out. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take this opportunity to take a quick break. We'll get a few things taken care of, and we'll be back shortly.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit. iRacing Esports Network is the chocolate. The Global Sim Racing Channel is the peanut butter. That tasty combination brings you live as it happens coverage of the Wounded Warrior USMC 200 from Texas Motor Speedway. We're currently under yellow, working lap number 84 of 133. The pace car is about to pull in, so it's just perfect timing to get back to the racing. And up in front, leading the way.
Yeah, they're all single file. Just sorry, Soup. I was just going to say they're all single file. Nobody took any pit stops, so we're all working basically the same. Most leaders are in 22 laps so far on these tires. Got a big run by Brian Yazik and Adam Blocker, 3 wide into turn 3 there, Soup.
They continue to fight, but they get that sorted out. They continue to race up front. Big Joe Hazard.
And we've seen kind of a consistent theme here is the leader just kind of holds the bottom, and all the guys behind him are fighting for second, third, fourth, fifth, but no one can quite make that move all the way around because there's no draft to pull them along. kind of seeing that now as Adam Blocker's now trying to be that guy on the outside to go around Big Joe, but he can't quite do it. And what happens is it opens up the door for it looks like Chris Stouffer to maybe make a move, but can't quite make it either. So these guys are jockeying around, but no one can get all the way to the front there. Big Joe holds that first position.
Coming across, working lap number 87, now starting lap number 88. Hassard out in front, trying to make the move on the top side. That's the blue car of Blocker. Blocker gets the run now. Stouffer watching from the third position.
Same result, you know, just gets right alongside him. He's going to get the run. He's going to probably get the lead, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold this. He's going to be credited with the lead, but here comes Big Joe. He's going to have the short way around. You know, maybe that's a move we see on the finish here, Soup. You know, if these guys are running this close, Adam might be looking for, what do I do to make this happen? All he has to do is be ahead at the stripe. That's all that matters.
And let's see who is ahead of the stripe this time. One more time, a run up on top. Not going to get there.
Yeah, and that's one thing you do see in the real world even here. You know, I've been in that position where you're running that bottom line and you're trying to hold that position, but that guy just constantly squeaks by you. Oh, he opens the door for him. And he's going to let Adam Blocker take the point.
Boy, either he left the door open or he invited him in. I'm not sure.
You know, honestly, if I had to make a guess, I think he let him by so he can see if this will work, try to see if he can get that run coming onto the straight. It looks like these guys are starting to think their way through. You know, if we come down to that last lap shootout, what position do you want to be in? Do you want to be leading, or do you want to be in that second spot and be able to squeak your nose by at the finish? So I have a feeling he saw what Adam was doing, and now he's going to do the undercut and take the lead back from Adam.
Blocker does not put up a big fight. Stouffer nowhere to go.
And we did get word that the reason why Tony Schoen dropped out after running second, he did lose force feedback in his steering wheel, so it's almost impossible to drive when you don't have any feel, so he decided to pull it off and call it a day.
Yeah, I've been reading articles about the advantages of racing ovals without force feedback. I don't get it, but I don't know. What do I know?
There are some pros that do it. I mean, it's probably a personal thing. I think if you've been doing this a long time with the older wheels that really didn't have force feedback, maybe that's what you're used to. But man, I've had it happen to me, and the car just feels completely numb. So I can't do it.
So behind the top three, it's Stouffer and Yazik. And there's a two-car. Hey, Stefan Larkamp back up in the mix now, racing in sixth position. Falling back a little bit, back to eighth now. Daigle up there as well.
Yeah, and I'd like to bring up Mr. Kinsella, who's in 33rd and made that short stop, or that pit stop earlier, but he's worked his way all the way up to, looks like 10th spot. So, you know, he's got a championship battle to work on. He's had to work really hard to get up there, but he's slowly making his way to be able to get into this mix with these guys in the top 5 or 6.
And just some names to keep in mind. How about Scott Johnson, Samuel Ryman? These guys are all been out there on made that stop most recently. Tyler McGrath. We expect these guys to lead at least for a few laps if this stays green.
Yeah, we're working 33 laps since the last time these leaders have stopped. Now 34. We've done some yellows, so we're going to go longer than that 30-line lap stint that we predicted. But once again, if we don't get a green or a yellow flag soon, this is definitely going to fall into the hands of those guys that pitted early, which I think is beginning with Andrew Kinsella, who's 10 laps shorter on this run than the rest of these guys. So that could come into play.
We are, I think we're in the window right now to go the distance if anybody wants to come in and make a stop, as Peter Edmonds is doing.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't stop right now unless I had to. There's going to be another yellow. I can't say 100%, but I can't believe we're going to go the rest of the race without at least one more yellow. And when you do come in at a green, man, you lose a whole lap, so it's hard to make that up.
Again, unlike Pocono, where it was almost a road course strategy, where if you were close enough to the front, you could pit and not go a lap down.
Yeah, in Pocono, we struggle with the tires. So you would reach a delta time where you were just losing too much time on the track. If somebody behind you pitted, you had to react. Kind of like Formula One style. If you saw that guy behind you pit, you better pit the next time and try to undercut him. Otherwise, you're losing 5, 6, 7 tenths a lap. At 200 miles an hour, you're going 100 yards a second. So, 5 or 6 seconds, you're basically out of the draft.
Well, raise your glasses at Moby Dickey's because your driver, Justin Weaver, is back out in front. The problem is he's got to defend that inside line over and over. Big Joe Hazard with the run on the top side. Richie, I got to figure that running down low, it's going to wear out the tires faster than that top line will.
Oh, absolutely. And they're getting to the point where they got a few laps on these tires, and you could probably hold it, but you just keep cranking more wheel into it, more wheel.
Okay.
Caution's out.
It is Matthew Mercer. Oh, and there are several cars that managed to go underneath him. Oh, my goodness, as he cartwheels down the track. We'll see if we can pick out a name. What happens was he gets into the back of George Anzaldo. George seemed to be really slow. Oh, George was trying to pit. Yeah, this is rough. George was coming from the high line. I guess he decided to make a pit, and there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta commit to that line early on down below, and you're coming in so fast. Basically, Matthew had nowhere to go and just set in for a ride. So, right about here, if you're gonna pit, you gotta drop down low. That lets people know you're gonna pit, and he's still running the racing line. Unfortunately, as he slows down, cuts in front, Mercer has nowhere to go.
Are we still on replay, or did we come back live? How about on board with Brian Beard would be fun. He gets a good view of this one, and lucky he's not any taller.
All right. Oh, yeah, right over the top of him. All right. Yep, leaders are in, and so this might see where we could see something like Andrew Kinsella jump these guys because he's got to take quite a bit less fuel.
Yep.
And we'll see how this plays out. This could really work in his favor. And sometimes you got to be smart if you're not the fastest guy at the beginning. You just got to smart your way through it.
Here they come. First out, it's going to be Hassert, Blocker, Weaver, Stouffer. And we're thinking that Pierre Nightingale must have been lucky. He came in right before that yellow came out.
Yeah, and Andrew Kinsella has come out in, looks like 4th or 5th spot. So Mr. Kinsella doing the things that he does to show that that's the reason why he's tied with Adam Blocker and his teammate up for the points. So he's definitely got himself back in this game with only about, we have 29 laps left.
Yep. Daigle, after that misfortune, comes out in 24th.
Just so you know, I did math there, Soup.
I saw that. Well, now everybody, we have what amounts to a 30-mile sprint race now. 30-lap sprint race.
Yeah, we're well within the fuel window, so unless a yellow flag comes in, people need tires. No more need to pit, and it's just going to be a straight-up fight. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to line up 6th, not 5th.
28 drivers on the lead lap. 3 of those stuck behind the pace car. Flanagan, Bolster, and Edwins, but they are good to go.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, as we've seen this race unfold, being the leader, it's good, but Adam's pretty smart, and I think he's going to just hang there and try to just squeak his nose across the line at the end. We'll see. Unless he gets a clean move, I think he's just going to hold that 2nd spot until he really needs it.
Let me correct myself. I was looking at Edwin. Edwin's actually is good to go. The front 2 are not. Flanagan and Bolster. They're going to have to come in. I would not be surprised if I didn't see both Joe and Scott come down to pit lane this time. And as I say that, Flanagan's going to stay out. They're going to stay out, get their lap back, and then hope that they get another yellow here pretty quick.
And
there they go.
one of the big losers in that thing, I don't know what happened, but Brian Yasic, he was running in that top 3 or 4, and he's all the way back to 23rd. So, yeah, maybe he pitted after the caution.
Yeah, might have pitted just after the caution. That's why he got hung out. But we called it. In fact, Richie Hearn was actually on this one, and that's Andrew Kinsella. What he did, he came in, took that stop, and had to fill up with less fuel. And now, all of a sudden, Richie, the man in the points race, finds himself in 6th.
Yeah, there were a couple other guys that came in with him. I think Brian Beard was one of them, but they didn't quite get the position. Andrew worked hard on the track, but he had a hell of a pit stop. So started 24th, ran 6th, and we're coming to that sprint finish we're looking for.
Well, let's cross our fingers and see if we can go green from here, and especially green on the last 6 or 7 laps so we can finish under the green flag. Big Joe Hassard. He's out in front. Adam Blocker in 2nd. Justin Weaver in 3rd. Christopher and Michael Goodman go 4th and 5th. Goodman under attack from Andrew Kinsella. Here they come at you.
Here they come. Adam's going to try that outside lane once again, but once again, he can't get it done. Opening the door maybe for 3 wide for Justin Weaver, but you're going to see a little bit of a chess match, I think, here. Because once again, if you get a good enough run off of 4, you might be able to squeak just across the finish line. But that move has pushed Adam back to 3rd or 4th spots. That didn't work out. Now Justin Weaver is going to try that same move going into 3.
And it does not work. Boy, they stay in a bunch, though. Hassard. Blocker. Now, here comes a run from Stouffer, nowhere to go. The white and blue car, that's the Moby Dickey car of Justin Weaver.
Now we got a big... Oh, Stouffer catches the apron and sends it into
Careful.
the grass. No yellow, but, man, he was drifting through the corner. He's going to keep it going. He's going to just definitely lose all those positions, but he's still in the game here.
What a great job of keeping car control on the grass and did not come up in front of the field.
So we're just seeing Big Joe just kind of do what Dan Guerin early on, just hug that bottom line. All these guys behind him run 2 by 2 by 2, have nowhere to go. They're all trying to figure out how are we going to make this happen? What position do I need to be? All Joe's got to do is just hold that bottom line, keep that foot pinned.
Can he do it for 23 laps without using up his stuff is the question. There's always going to be somebody there for him to defend.
Yeah, well, the good thing for him is he's got clean air, so, it's going to be a little easier on his tires. But he's leaving the door open a little bit as he goes into 1. Adam Blocker trying to sneak on in. This is bringing Mr. Kinsella up to the mix as well as he's looking for a way through, sitting behind his teammate there. They're tied for points, but they are teammates.
Hassard picks up a little bit of a gap. Weaver now into 2nd, Blocker in 3rd.
Oh, he's opened the door once again.
Yep.
Here comes Justin Weaver. He's going to try to force his way through, and he does. So Justin Weaver hasn't been very successful. He puts a move on Adam Blocker. But Weaver has not been very successful holding that bottom line. We've seen him lose it before, but he's there now. But he definitely had to put a big block on Blocker.
Yeah, he was inside of Hassard, and then Blocker said, "Let's see if I can get down below you." He said, "No." So we do have a new leader. It is Justin Weaver now. He'll have to hug the inside. Oh, Ken Hacker, and Dustin Wardlow. And somebody's going to have to get a ladder for Dustin because the Candyman is stuck in the fence. they get together.
Oh, yeah. Just like he just drifted up, didn't know that Dustin had such a run, and yes, he does get caught in that fence. But yeah, I think Dustin just had a really good run. Sometimes your spotter's a little delayed. Here he comes up, and away we go. I don't know who was in the blue car behind them, but we want to get on board with him as well.
Right on board with Packer. Round you go. Richie, in your real-world career, were you ever on your lid?
Nope, never on my lid. Even in my go-kart days, I think I flipped one time my whole life, so I got that going for me.
There you go.
I did see Marco Andretti go on his lid 3 times, though, and he went on at Indy and Mid-Ohio and somewhere else, so he was a little more unlucky.
Well, drilling down a little bit on that, did you ever have a car above you?
I don't believe so. If I did, I don't remember.
That's probably something you probably want to forget about. Okay, well, a few drivers are going to bite for tires here. Brian Yazik being one of them. Out in front, it is Justin Weaver.
Now, I have been completely wrong on this before, but I think track position is probably a little more important than the fresh tires with only this much time left. But I've called that before. I don't remember what race it was, but they completely blew me out of the water as those guys came to the front and won the race.
This is probably good news for the leader, as less laps for him to defend.
Yeah, we'll go about 4 laps here, 4 to 5 laps under yellow. That'll bring us up to about 13 to go, roughly 14. And but I'm really curious to see this chess match going on behind the leader and what position somebody's going to put themselves in to try to make that pass.
Of all the cars that came in, I'll give you some names. It's Brian Yazik. My goodness, now look at the driver in 17th. He's doing just to annoy the commentators. It's Jason Galvin. Jason, when did you get in the race? I didn't even know you were here. I looked for you in the pre-race show. Good to see you back. Jason sits 3rd in the points. He's now 2nd of all the cars that took that pit stop. Conversation from some people taking a last-minute top off. The lights are still on, so we're going to go around one more time. It'll be about 15 laps of racing, 22.5 miles. Everyone out there at Moby Dickey's Justin Weaver out in front. Wonder if you can get fish and chips at Moby Dickey's. What about Andrew Kinsella? Remember, we talked about his strategy. He's now in 5th. How about our hard charger? Gives us an opportunity to take a peek at that. Looks like the driver in 8th. Every time I go there, it's James Grahul. It's that darn 37th starting position every time. Let's try something different. Let's go with our 2nd hard charger. This will be more fun to do. How about Cousin Dupree, Isaiah, down in 13th position. There you go. Isaiah Dupree. All right, it's time to go back to live. We are ready to go. Green flag is racing. Green flag is flying. Richie Hearn has left me for a minute, but he'll be back. Justin Weaver out in front. 15 laps to go. Oh, he might be too far in front. Get down low, hug the inside like a tight pair of Fruit of the Looms. Justin Weaver listens to me, he does that. Big Joe Hazard right behind him, he's gonna try to get to the inside. Weaver continues to cover the inside. Hazard with nowhere to go. Watch out for Blocker. He's got a big run, not enough pavement. Get into the inside, it's Hazard. I'm going low and you can't stop me. Hazard around 4 in front. Once again, Weaver unable to guard the inside.
Yeah, these guys again and just mixing it up. They see the finish line and it's time to make those moves.
Blocker back in third. The Von Hansen meat machine is back. Bob Mike is in fourth, working up top. Leaving the middle open, trying to sneak down in there was Andrew Kinsella.
Big Joe holding that bottom line. Once again, you just watch these guys. Like I said, this is going to be a big chess match to try to make that move. Big Joe's got the position on these guys. It just can't quite get that momentum. So we might be looking for really a battle for second and third. Here comes Andrew Kinsella, who's done an awesome job making his way back up from that poor qualifying position and penalty.
Bob Mikas is racing the top line, leaving the inside open. Kinsella says thank you very much, but Mikas likes it high and fast. Meanwhile, up front, Big Joe Hazard covers the inside like wall-to-wall carpet. Weaver right behind him, getting a nose full of gearbox. Cannot do it. Now with a run out of 4. He's got good momentum. He's not going to be first across the line. Keep that in mind. But he's first into corner number 1 on the outside. They almost touch. Look at the momentum from Moby Dickey. The Whale is swimming up on top right now. He's got a half a car length lead. I don't think he's going to be able to close the door. Hazard fights back. Cialis bathtubs this entire lap. Once again, Hazard leads at the line. Is Weaver making Hazard use up his stuff? Is the top line easier to do? Now he gets back up there. The inside's open.
Whoa,
He won't
he's-
take it.
Oh, it was so close between Weaver and Joe. Joe wasn't giving him any room, and I'm surprised they didn't have any contact. But Joe is running right down the middle. He's kind of inviting him to go underneath as here comes Justin Weaver's going to take that move right and going into turn 1. I don't know if this is strategic or he's just running out of tire.
The pass is made. Light blue car of Weaver now on the inside. Will he be able to hold it as they come across? It'll be 7 to go.
Big thing to notice, to mention too, is Andrew Kinsella is now in third. His teammate who's tied with him in the points is now all the way back to 7. So that's going to make a difference in the end result as far as the points go. But our focus is on that lead, the 2 in the lead between Weaver and Joe.
Weaver on the low side. Hazard on the top side. Oh, Hazard's in the wall. I think we're going to stay under green unless he spins.
Oh, that's too bad for Big Joe. Yellow
And now
flag.
the yellow. With 6 to go, I think we'll come back and be able to get a sprint to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I think we'll get a 1-lap shootout here. This might put Andrew Kinsella in the catbird seat, as you like to say. Justin's going to be a little bit of a sitting duck unless he gets an exceptionally good start.
For Big Joe Hazard, it's deja vu all over again. One more time, dominant at Texas, just like last season. We'll end up with a horrible finish.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people got taken out with him. They had nowhere to go. It just kind of looked like he just ran out of tire. He just goes into the corner a little high, and he can't recover. And once again, that turn 4 wall just really tightens up on you as it goes down to the flat. And here he goes. He's up high, he's up high, he's up high, and then there he goes.
We thought he might be able to keep the car up on the wall and not have a yellow come out, but that was not the case. Other drivers involved in it, Robert Bluen, Peter Edwins. We're going to ride on board with Edwins. He was kind of very late to the scene.
Yeah, I think he goes right underneath one of those drivers, but then he plows into somebody else. as you're going to see right here. Here he comes, and just go for the smoke underneath, and then here comes this car. Boom. And that's just too bad.
Ron Hacker also involved in that one.
Wow. So here we go, Soup. Saturday night special.
Indeed it is. So, Richie, does Weaver have to worry about getting too big of a jump, or does he kind of have to do a NASCAR thing and kind of lay back and mind the gap?
You know, I will see how many laps we have to go. You know, thinking back, you know, we have yet to see whoever was leading really ever get past.
Yeah, I'm saying with just a few amount of laps, let's get that car going.
Yeah,
get down to the inside and make have a catch, try to do it on the top.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would see that as soon as that pace car comes in, I'm gone. I'm not going to even wait and just let these guys try to chase me, make them go around the outside. But we'll see how many laps we have left before we get there.
All the two-dimensional fans, their eyes right now pinned to the lights on top of the pace car, watching to see if it goes out. It does not. We will go around one more time. I believe we're going to have basically a one-lap shootout. There are 3 to go now. The pace car, the lights will go off. There will be 2 to go. The pace car will pull in, and it'll be 1.5 miles of racing. That's good news for Justin Weaver.
Yeah, I think Justin's got this unless he makes a really big mistake. I think the battle to watch is going to be between Andrew and Brian, because remember, Brian came in for that a little bit earlier or later stop when no one else did, and he's got fresh tires. So if Andrew's hurting a little bit, you know, Brian might be able to make that move and push him back to third, which, you know, has a impact on the points.
And maybe our director or Richie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but assuming there's no idiocracy that happens during the yellow flag that brings out an extra long yellow, if we get to green, we will finish under green, right? That's on that last lap that we'll get a green flag finish. So
yeah. Once we get the green flag, next lap finishes it. Yellow, checkered, whatever.
Got it.
It'll be the end of it. So we'll get that green, and we'll race right to the finish line.
Double check to make sure the lights have gone off the pace car. It has. Well, if you're a commentator, this is what you hope for. 1.5 miles of racing to the green flag. Get the names right. Call the right winner. And then it's pizza time.
Once again, just jump in that blender and turn it on, and let's see what happens.
What does Justin Weaver do? Does he have to worry about getting gobbled up on the backstretch? Both Richie and I are in agreement. It's go time. I know we're a little late to do it, but if you got yourself a disco ball, start it spinning. It's time to boogie. We're going to go racing 1.5 miles to see who wins round number 13 here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series.
And there he goes. Like I said, right away, get that gap. Also Mr. Kinsella's got a big gap on Brian, so that battle's not what I saw. I think the battle's going to be for that third spot between Brian, Bob Mikas, Adam Blocker, James Krahula.
Down the backstretch, it is Justin Weaver. He's got about 4 car lengths. He's got about 3 car lengths. I think he's got it. Call me Ismail, because Moby Dickey is going to win the Wounded Warrior 200 in Texas. Justin Weaver. Andrew Kinsella has to settle for second. Brian Yazik, Adam Blocker.
Yeah, nice job to Justin Weaver. He did start first and finish first. He had a little rough go once Dan Guerin kind of muscled him out of the way, but he was able to come to the front when it mattered.
And that'll do it. Your hard charger is indeed James Krahula with Isaiah Dupree also having a great run, 40th to 12th. The racing is over here at Texas. Our broadcast is not. Don't go far. We will be back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers as we come back for the Plasma Track post-race show. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Wounded Warrior USMC 200 and the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. Hey, you know, for all you guys watching out there on iRacing's eSport Network, this is new, so pay attention because I've got the place for you to do some shopping. If you, like me, have that person that has everything, you don't know what to get them, I've got the website for you. Plasma-Tracks.com not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. I could try, but I would fail if I tried to describe the uniqueness of their ways. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But I'm warning you, one visit to their website and you'll be trying to convince your spouse why you need a Plasma Track wall art hanging on your home wall. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. And this is really important. Use this promo code LRS, that stands for Lionheart Racing Series. LRS 2018. The 2018 relates to the year. LRS 2018 to get not 10, not 15, not 20, 25% off your order. All right, and now I'm going to give you even better than that. I'm going to give you 100% of the HPP finishing order. And let's start by talking about Justin Weaver. When something happens on the 21st time, we call it hidden blackjack. This was Justin Weaver's 21st race, and he does indeed hit blackjack, winning his first career Lionheart IndyCar Series race in his 21st attempt. Congratulations to the man in the Moby Dickies car. Andrew Kinsella started back in 21st. We didn't think it was going to be a good points night for him. It sure is. He's going to actually be our points leader coming back next time. Brian Yosek goes for third. Bob Mikas was racing up front, fell back. He's back again. He comes home in 4th. Adam Blocker right behind him in 5th. The back half of your top 10, James Grahula, Chris Stouffer, Michael Goodman, Stefan Larkamp, our top rookie. One more top 10 for him, and Chris Lanini in 10th. Richie?
Yeah, coming up in 11th spot is going to be Joe Branch, followed by Isaiah Dupree, who started in 40th all the way up to 12th, so nice job to him. Samuel Ryman also started 39th, finished 13th, so great job to him as well. Another Rookie of the Year contender. Tyler Graff, Scott Johnson in 15th, Brian Beard, Joe Flanagan, Ed Tutwiler in 18th, Robert Blue in 19th, and Scott Bolster coming in the 20th spot.
And once again, we like when the drivers cooperate, because now, starting in 21st, they're all one lap down or more. And we'll start with George Anzaldo, Pierre Nightingale in the double duck spot. Big Joe Hassard, I don't even want to get into it. 5 laps down. What could have been 23rd for him. Brian, not easy being Greenlee, a very quiet 24th. Ron Hacker, Peter Edwins go 25th and 26th. 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Jason Galvin, hey, he made it to the race after all. Not going to do real well in the points, though. Ken Hacker, the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, and in 30th, Matthew Mercer. Richie?
Yep, 31st is going to be Woody Mayhem. Bart Workman coming in 32nd. Dan Guerin, who was our early favorite, who led a lot of laps at the beginning, had an unfortunate accident, coming in 33rd. The Racy Kangaroo Gray in 34th. Dylan McKenna in 35th. Tony Schoen had a mechanical issue in 36th. Brandon Linkerman, Ian Adams, Greg West, and Jack Bogan round out the field.
It is my privilege to talk to the man picking up his first career Lionheart IndyCar Series win, Justin Weaver in the Moby Dickey's machine. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, guys. It feels it feels great to win. Definitely had a little struggle this year. Seems to be feast or famine, and boys, we feasted tonight, baby. Woo! I'm so excited.
You surprised me with that pole position. Were you surprised to find yourself that far up?
To be perfectly honest with you, I was. I just did a few qualifying runs there in practice, and just was hoping to just kind of get in the top 5, and once I did that, I just once the qualifying came, I kept it on the bottom, and I actually thought I messed up 3 and 4 a little bit because the wheel was getting a little tight, and next thing you know, I'm on the top of the board, and I'm like, well, I'm just sitting there waiting for me to click down the standings there, but it never happened. So next thing you know, I got my first pole, and was able to. That was even more awesome.
When that last yellow came out, were you saying to yourself, okay, that's actually a good thing for me? Or you were saying, uh-oh?
Of course, I gave a little shucks there because I was hoping it'd be one lap later. Otherwise, it'd been over. But I was actually, but now once I was riding under caution, I was actually kind of glad it was that, because I could control the restart, and it took as long as you got a good restart and kind of wasn't doing the same pattern, you could actually get a good jump on the guys, and that's kind of what I did with Kinsella behind me. I knew he was going to be all over me there, and just try to keep it low. And man, I got a hell of a jump there. That Ford motor there for 8 Ball Motorsports gave me some good power there. So next thing you know, I'm kind of cruising there off of turn 4. Andrew didn't really have anything for me.
Going to get you out of here on this one, and it's about Moby Dickey's. It is a bar and grill, right? There is food there, yes?
Yep, plenty of food there and plenty of drink. So apparently I'm going to have a lot of drinks are going to be on me through the weekend. We got to celebrate this win, right? That's for sure.
Can you get fish and chips? That's what I want to know.
Oh yes, sir. You can get fish and chips. You can get all kinds of different fish you want to, buddy. And then they got the whole menu. If you want something on the menu, he can order it and then be on the menu there by next week.
All right.
That's the way Dickie and Gina roll there at Moby Dickey's.
All right, well, if you're in the neighborhood, stop on in and tell him Soup sent you. Justin Weaver picks up his first win. Nice job, Justin.
Then just remember, a little Dickie will do you.
There you go. All right. I like it when they're happy and they win a race. All right, let's go ahead next. We'll be able to talk to who are we going to bring in? We're going to bring in, there we go. We're going to bring in Andrew Kinsella. And we got him, and here we go.
Andrew, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here, Richie.
Hey, man, great race. Started 24th, ended up 2nd. Obviously, didn't qualify as well as you'd like. We were watching you early on, and it looked like you maybe got like a penalty because you had to cycle to the back.
Yeah, I got a speeding penalty on the pit road exit. I just hit the button a split second too soon. Completely my fault, but I don't know how I was able to recover, to be honest. But the car was hooked up all night, and I was able to work the low line when a lot of people couldn't. So I was able to pass a lot of people. I was passing 10 to 15 cars a run. So we had the car to win for sure. Just a couple laps longer. If we'd gone green, I think I could have been in front, but it is what it is. Hell of a race. Hats off to Justin. Congrats. Definitely deserved to win. He was up there all night racing, so good job. But yeah, slightly disappointed, but still at the same time elated that I took basically what amounted to 35th place after, I don't know, 10 laps, or sorry, after about 40 laps, and turned it into a second place. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, one thing I think helped you too is you pitted when the leaders didn't, so you were 10 laps shorter, or shorter on fuel. So when you came into the pits when everybody else did, that bumped you up to like 6th spot, and then got you in that mix there to get up to second. So we were watching that for sure.
Yeah, what happened there was actually when I pitted there on that caution where a whole bunch of people didn't, I was probably the only one who didn't take fuel. I just took tires, so I was actually low on fuel that entire run. So Branch was saying his tires were starting to fall off, but mine didn't at all. So I made up, I think it was 16 spots. I think it was from 21st to 6th, so 15 spots in one run. That was incredible. That was a lot of fun. Just again going on the bottom, battling with guys like Larkamp and Bob Mikas there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I didn't notice that, but having those fresh tires definitely was the key to making those spots up. And also, this is going to be a good points haul for you, as your adversary there, Adam Blocker, is finishing in 5th. So it started out probably looking a little bleak, but ended up really strong with that second place finish.
Yeah, and Adam was strong all night, so I'm again just shocked that I was able to get back up to second, and he drove a hell of a race, but I was able to get him in the last 10 or 15 laps there, so definitely good points haul, and got to keep focused on the target at the end of the season, and keep racking up these finishes and keep turning lemons into lemonade, as Soup would say.
Haha, right? Well, once again, awesome job there, Andrew, and I look forward to seeing you at the next race. Soup?
Thanks, Richie.
And that is our second place finisher, and who we believe is going to be our points leader when we show up next time. Now we get an opportunity to talk to the man who finished 3rd, started in 9th, had himself a top 5 car, finishes well within the top 5. Brian Yosick with 3rd. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Soup. That last that pit stop with 30 something to go. Apparently we had rear wing damage, so that sent us all the way to the back. So that wasn't fun. We thought the whole night was over from there, but we just kept digging in this HPP simulation machine for Loud Pedal Motorsports, clipping that Apex SimRacing apps. So it was a deal. I was kind of upset with that last caution because, I was listening to Weaver and Kinsella talking there, but if that had gone green, I was going to pass both of them. So, oh well.
Were you really? All right, let's talk about making the low line work. We can see drivers defend it for 4, 5, 6 laps, and eventually they have to give it up. As our guess is, it uses up the tires to stay down there too long?
Yeah, pretty much. It drove a lot like Homestead, the season opener, where that bottom lane would work for a little bit and then it wouldn't, and you just had to rim ride. So, if you could kind of take care of it a little bit, you could get somewhere with it, but the top was kind of where to be. Fresh tires it felt magical, for about 10 laps, and then it turned into a dump truck. So it's not super exciting, but I'm sure it put on a great show for everybody.
It was fun to watch. Hey, congratulations on the top 3. Keeps you in the points race, baby.
Yeah, we just got to keep digging at it. We got some ground to make up after a really bad week in Sonoma. So we just got to keep digging. Got a good stretch of tracks coming. I really like Spa, but the road courses don't like me this year. So we will we'll just put our head down and try to keep putting this HPP simulation machine up here at the front. And the way I see it, if we keep talking to you every week, then we're doing something right.
Well, I can't vouch for the first part of that comment, but yeah, if you can get in for these interviews, that's a good sign. All right, Brian Yasek, good job. Boy, that's a sad state of affairs when you know you're doing something right if you're talking to me every week. All right, do we have one more left? Do we get to talk to Bob Mike? We're going to talk to Bob Mike is here, who finished 4th. We'll let Richie talk to him.
Bob, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, man, great race out there. Started 8th, finished 4th. I got to say, I love your helmet. It always makes me smile. Tell us a little bit about your race. It looked a little bit tough to pass, and it looked like that bottom lane was wherever you wanted to be.
You know, it was tough to pass if you didn't hit the right line. There was a special line up high where you get a good run up high and then be able to cut it down low, and that seemed to be pretty much the line to take if you want to be really fast. Other than that, out of 2, it just pushed really hard with the tailwind coming down the backstretch, just washing your nose right out. Definitely hard to pass.
Yeah, we saw a few accidents, where people got a little high going into 3, and I'm assuming that probably had something to do with the wind there. Do you have any big moments out there that maybe you thought this was the end of it?
The second caution, I was having a good run out of 2. Had just a little too good of a run, and I hit the wall pretty good, and I thought that damaged the right side, but got back to racing under that third caution after that second caution, and it was fine. So I was a little weight off my shoulders after that one.
Yeah, like it was a great finish there. It looked like a little bit of a mess where you guys were running. Everybody was fighting hard with Adam and James and Brian. But once again, awesome job. Started 8th, finished 4th. Got to be happy with that. And we will see you at the next one.
All right, guys.
Hey, Bob, it's Soup here. One final question. Get you out of here on this. I know Labor Day's coming up and stuff, so it's too late for me to get my meat shipped to me for this holiday. But Von Hanson's meat, they will take care of your hunted food. Am I correct on that? If I bring in a deer, they'll take care of that for me?
Yes, if you guys are in the Minnesota, Wisconsin, Dakotas areas, just bring it to any store and we could process it for you.
What can I bring in? Can I bring in beaver or squirrel or strange stuff like that?
Soup, if you have it, we could process it.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I'm going to be up in the area, maybe doing a little hunting. I'll know where to take my catch. All right, Bob Mikas, congratulations on the win. He always
take the win.
He wins just by talking to me. All right, our 4th place finisher today. I was thinking about what I'm going to actually bring in, what kind of food I could hunt and bring to him. That's going to wrap it up for us here. Thank goodness for the post-race show. Let's go ahead and give the thanks to the people that make this possible. They've been the source, and we're talking about First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in Burlington. Now, that's a long way from Minnesota, but if you're hunting in Minnesota and you hurt yourself, you can get some good medical equipment down in Iowa. Check them out, because they are noted for their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. Richie?
We also got Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code LION, the number 20, to get 20% off your next order.
You got to go check out the products from HPP Simulations. You know, when it comes to sim racing, nothing beats the feel of true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories, they set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, visit hppsimulation.com.
To contact any of these sponsors you see on our screen right now, go to the LionheartRacingSeries.com, click on 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo.
On the screen right now are just some of the equipment, the company's equipment and software that make this broadcast possible. How about the iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production? That comes courtesy of 2 people, Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact each of them. And now it would be
The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns in 2 weeks. Wednesday, September 12th for the LPM Grand Prix of Belgium. Love that place. GSRC via the iRacing Esports Network will be there to bring you all the action, and we hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And if you're not already a GSRC YouTube channel subscriber, you can become one by simply visiting our YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button.
We got to stop letting these real-world drivers come in here and then misread the script at the end. Finally, on behalf of the crew, Richie, Amjad, Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you on the iRacing Esports Network for watching. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If not, we'll try again next time. Right now, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until that next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.